All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved unanimously. Mr. Porter, get us started, please.
Yes, Mayor. This is for the Cartersville Bartow Library Board. John Sherman has wants to fill that vacant role on the board with new term expiring June 30, 2027, if approved.
I want to thank Randy Sonnenschein for her commitment to that board and serving in that capacity for as long as she could until she had to roll off the board. And that being said, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And that item is approved unanimously. Mr. Hardigree, if you'll get us started with Z24-05.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item, Z24-05, is for a rezoning case for 681/683 Henderson Drive. Applicant Sleeman Smith is being represented this evening by Mark Harris. The applicant's proposing to rezone the 1.2 acre site from OC to GC. This is in anticipation of some other steps that would help with the outdoor storage situation that's occurring out there, has been occurring for the many years that the property's been in existence. It was developed in 1996. The building, as well as the buildings to the north, are also zoned OC, was zoned as office warehouses. So the OC zoning in itself really doesn't fit, so they're requesting the rezoning to convert it to GC, which is a more appropriate fit for that, and then they will be back before Planning Commission and Council for some additional steps with text amendments and special use permits to help abate the outdoor storage issues that have plagued them and has been an issue for code enforcement for some time. Planning Commission did recommend staff's recommendation of a condition associated with this rezoning, that condition being that all GC uses except for construction contractors and offices are prohibited. So this limits really the use to what's currently there now, so that there's no chance of restaurants or used car dealers or anything like that coming in and setting up shop without going through another public hearing process. Again, Planning Commission did recommend approval of this application with the condition, and since the last meeting with council, there's been no changes or revisions to the application.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Hardigree at this time? Thank you. That being said, I'll open up the public hearing for Z24-05, and does the applicant care to, everything you said last week holds the same, but we got more folks here if you'd like to.
If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Mark Harris, 700 Dothan Ferry Road, or Dothan Ferry Road, depends on which end you live on.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Harris at this time? Thank you, sir.
Great.
And again, we'll continue with the public hearing for Z24-05. Anybody wishing to step forward, speak for or against, may do so at this time. And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for Z24-05, and we'll turn it over to council for any discussion, questions, or consideration.
Make a motion to approve with the one condition. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. David, you're up again with Z24-06, please.
Thank you again. Z24-06 is for a rezoning application for 165 Cassville Road. The applicant's Mohammed Chisti. The applicant is requesting a change in zoning from office commercial to general commercial with the intent of eventually opening a package store or liquor store and one of the available or unused tenant spaces that's attached to the convenience store. Right now, with it being OC, there's one general commercial property to the right in the picture, or to the east there. So it'd be an expansion of that GC zoning district. The current uses on site, as you well know, is a gas station and a convenience store, surrounded by industrial and public institutional to the north with the cemetery. Planning Commission did review this, and they voted to approve it without any conditions. And since the last reading, there have been no additions or revisions to the application.
Okay, thank you. Questions for Mr. Hardigree at this time? Thank you, David. Again, I'll open up a public hearing for Z 24-06 and ask anybody wishing to step forward to speak for or against to do so at this time.
I presented it last time.
Sure, yep,
Hello.
please,
Good
again,
afternoon.
your name and your
My
address.
name
for
is
our clerk.
Ali. I live in 16 Sugar Mill Drive. I'm on behalf of 165 Cartersville Road. Any question you might have?
Any questions? All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you much.
I'll continue the public hearing for Z 24-06 and ask anybody wishing to step forward to speak for or against to do so at this time. And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for Z 24-06 and turn it over to council for consideration.
I'd like to make a motion to leave zoning requests as is. Office Commissioner.
So you'd like,
You'd like to make a motion to deny the proposed request?
Deny the proposal request, yes.
Okay, if that's what you're saying.
okay, I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. To deny, yeah. Motion to deny passes unanimously. Mr. Hardigree, if you'll continue on with T 24-03.
Yes, sir. T 24-03 is a text amendment to the section 20-29 of our sign ordinance. The applicant, Flournoy Holdings LLC, is looking for relief from our ordinance to be able to construct a billboard on the property, which is adjacent to the I-75 Highway 411 interchange. He's just to the south of that interchange, adjacent to it. They had recommended, there's been several iterations of what's being recommended. Their recommendation of 661 feet, or to construct a billboard within 661 feet mathematically will not work for their property. Following that, we did have lots of discussions, reiterations. You're well aware of those. Staff did present one variation of what possibly could be a solution to this text amendment to you this evening. They've also, that same recommendation from staff's been presented to the representatives that are here this evening, so they are aware of it. Planning Commission did review this. They were unable to get a motion passed just due to the few number of members that had attended that meeting. So technically, the Planning Commission did not have a recommendation as it failed as a result of not getting enough votes. But generally, what we're looking to do is to have language in place that would modify the billboard text amendment, that one section F, to allow a billboard to possibly be visible from 75, but the billboard to be focused on being seen primarily from Highway 411. And you have the staff's recommendation for language in front of you tonight. Again, so does the applicant, and they're both representatives for the Tilly billboard and for the applicant is here this evening.
Okay.
There have been no other changes or additions to the application since the last reading.
Thank you. Questions for David at this time?
No, but I have one for Keith.
Okay, go right ahead.
Do I do it now or after the fact?
Either.
How, before we all start debating this and trying to figure out the specifics, how do we get it in if we so chose to say we wanted it specific to 411? How do you incorporate that into the current suggestion?
If you look at the current suggestion, you would say is intended to be viewed from US Highway 11, US Highway 411, period.
From a state route or US Highway 411?
No, just from US Highway 411, period.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's how you would word that.
Any other questions for anyone yet? I'll ask the applicant, we don't usually do this, but you were here the last time and took the time to be here again, so welcome back.
My name is Jack Howard. I'm currently reside at 118 5th Street North, Columbus, Mississippi. I'm representing Flournoy Holdings, and I'll take any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, council?
Mayor,
Yes.
there was, one other person that spoke at the last one. I don't know if you want to have any other speakers tonight, but.
I don't, but you're welcome to come up if you want to. No pressure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion from council? If there are none, a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we change, that we amend, I guess it would be, B1F, would be subsection F there, to read, shall not be visible from or located along Interstate 75 unless said billboard is intended to be viewed from US Highway 411.
Okay? And so you're approving the motion for the, basically change, as a part of T-2403, you're going to approve that text amendment, and this is the text amendment change that you would like.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Mr. McKee, you're up next, I do believe. Amendment to the utilities ordinance regarding electric rates.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council, this is an amendment to utilities ordinance regarding electric rates, specifically the distributed generation rider, DGR1. This will be for future solar customers only, not existing customers, and it's essentially a restructuring to bring it in alignment with our other utility rates and riders.
Thank you. Any questions for Tom on this item? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve. Second.
Julia, did you get that?
I did.
We got motions and seconds flying all over the place tonight. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Tom. Mr. Forsyth, you've got the next handful. Good evening to you.
Good evening, sir. The first item is the water storage intergovernmental agreement with Bartow County. This was made necessary in order to enter into an agreement with the Corps of Engineers and the state to secure the new water storage allocation in Lake Altoona of 11,327 acre feet of storage. We have to agree with Bartow County on the sharing of that storage. The commissioner did approve this at his July 17th public meeting, and I am recommending that you approve it as well.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item for you, please, Sydney.
Yes, sir. The next item is the annual EPD water testing contract. This is a contract we enter every year with the EPD laboratory to complete our primary and secondary drinking water standards testing. The price is based on population of the city, and it's been the same for several years now, $10,120. I recommend it for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Change order, Mr. Forsyth.
Yes, so this involves two things in this change order. First of all is the change order is made necessary primarily by Bartow County, who will be taking over a portion of this sewer after construction is completed. They have requested a change, essentially lowering portion of that sewer for their own purposes. The change order, it results in $60,050 that the county will owe the city. Along with that is a reimbursement agreement or an amendment to original reimbursement agreement, which allows us to invoice the county for said fees and funds. I recommend both change order and the reimbursement agreement for your approval.
Thank you. And council, when you, if you do choose to make an order, it will need to include both the approval of the change order and the approval to invoice the county, as Mr. Forsyth indicated. And that would be in order if somebody wanted to do that.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order and also approve the reimbursement agreement.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 And motion carries unanimously. Final one for you, Sydney.
Yes, sir. This is the Komatsu Sewer Lift Station Surge Relief Valve. You can see on the screen there. The current valve is about 20 years old, and it's giving us some problems, causing some damage to piping in that system. This is a sole source item for that particular lift station. We have a price from Principal Environmental for this GA valve of $12,185. I recommend it for your approval.
Thank you. How often does a pump like that usually last anyway?
The valve?
Yeah, the valve.
Actually, probably about 10 to 15 years. It's outlasted its normal life. It
Okay.
works a lot.
Thank you. There are no other questions, motions in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Wilson, you're up next. You've had a big few days, haven't you? Wade Wilson, Deadpool joke.
Oh,
Sorry.
yes, sorry about that. Believe it or not, I've never watched any of the Deadpool movies. But anyway, sorry. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council. Solid Waste Division, Public Works opened sealed bids on July 9th for our 20-yard rear loading garbage truck. Received 5 bids after evaluation from Public Works staff and our garage representatives. Public Works recommends the purchase of a Peterbilt 537 with a Howe PT 100 rear loading body. We feel this is the best selection based on acceptable specifications, price, and delivery time. This is from Carolina Environmental for a price of $225,432, and with a delivery date of 110 to 120 days. This vehicle is a budgeted item to be paid out of our capital expense account. We recommend approval of this purchase.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. Mr. Morgan, you've got the next couple.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. At the end of last year, the guardrail at the end of Bush Drive was damaged. We received the monies from his insurance company, and we're requesting that we be allowed to get it repaired through Martin Robbins Fence Company in the amount of $11,455.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Make a motion to approve the repair.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Freddie.
Yes, sir. We're requesting the replacement of 2 pickup trucks we use at customer service. These are replacing 2013 F-150s with over 100,000 miles each. These are budgeted items. We're just asking for your approval to move forward with these 2. It'll be Chevrolet Colorados.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
I heard you first and second, so.
Alyssa makes a motion.
Okay.
Carrie
Thank
second.
you.
That's fine. You got a big clip right there. Okay, go ahead.
Dan, you got the final item.
Matthews Garage, we had a vehicle repair, cost $7,656.82. Our cost was $1,000 after deductible. Recommend approval of this invoice.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Any other business that needs to come before council tonight? No non-residents want to torture us for 180 seconds for something that has nothing to do with the city of Cartersville. Well, yes, Carrie wants me to recognize Vivian Reyes, who's visiting us tonight, to learn a little bit more about local government. She was sharing some fantastic adventure she had over the summer in Washington, D.C. and the like, so welcome and thanks for being here. She also told me she didn't want anybody to know she was here, so thanks for that, Carrie. I'm just kidding. Congratulations on a great first day of school by all counts. Only 179 more of those till you get a summer break.
I don't understand why the police officers don't arrest people rolling yards. Put that note.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.